Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Madison Jonathan from MOC Tech, and today we're going to be discussing the AMD Radeon RX 7900 GRE, otherwise known as the Golden Rabbit Edition. With there being some reports that AMD had artificially limited the overclocking capabilities of this card. Now, as bad as that may initially sound, AMD has come out and confirmed that this is actually a bug with the GPU and they are soon to offer a fix. So sit back and relax as we discuss the Radeon RX 7900 GRE. Now, initially the 7900 GRE was a bit of a confusing launch, with the media being the first to review this card upon its original release in July 2023. So this is technically not a new card by any means, but only until now AMD kept this SKU exclusively to Chinese markets and only allowed a certain number of cards to be sold elsewhere through system integrators. However, the decision was eventually made to bring this model to the worldwide PC builder market, and as of only a day ago, this card officially hit the stores and available at retailers around the world. Now, the Radeon RX 7900 GRE sits in a bit of an interesting position on the market, and now the 7900 GRE serves as a bit of a gap between the RX 7900 XT and the 7800 XT. Now, the card itself has 33% more cores than the Navi 32 base 7800 XT. But at the moment, due to a heavy limited power specification, the card doesn't perform that much faster than the 7800 XT. And this statement proves especially true with the reference design models or cards that are clocked at reference speed. But like with a lot of GPUs, the true performance shines when those power sliders can be increased a little bit more. Now, most modern GPUs are very good at allocating frequency and resources based on the thermal and power budgets available to it. And this can also vary per variant of card depending on the power design of the card and the cooler that affects how the power is delivered to the GPU core and also how that thermal power is dissipated. So each card's going to have slightly different thermal and power budgets. However, information from Hardware Unboxed unveiled some concerns when it came to the overclocking of this card, with them deciding to perform a retest of the 7900 GRE but with a custom variant GPU. Now, models such as the Sapphire Pulse or the Nitro Plus should show an up to 10% higher performance than the 7800 XT, and some models such as the Nitro Plus have a much higher OC TGP limit of 305 watts with a total board power of 351 watts. And despite this card having a very generous power budget of up to 351 watts, however, despite this high power budget, it was found that the 7900 GRE was artificially clock limited, with there being a maximum configurable clock of 2803 MHz, which was very surprising as this card had the thermal and power budgets to clock higher, but it was discovered that no matter what you would do to this card, it would not go past the limit of 2803 MHz. So at the moment, it may seem a bit disappointing to customers who actually bought this card to be getting less performance that they should actually be, and custom variants of the GPU should be performing much better than it actually is at the moment. However, it is not all bad news out there, as AMD has actually publicly addressed this issue and confirmed that this artificial clock limit was indeed a bug with the GPU itself and not an artificial limit that AMD directly imposed on purpose. With Hardware Unboxed being in contact with AMD, they told Hardware Unboxed that the extremely limited overclocking of the GRE cards is a bug and it will be addressed shortly. So it's good to see that AMD has addressed this as an issue and will be offering a patch soon, as quite frankly this card at the moment, with how the reviews stack up, doesn't make a lot of sense in the market. But once AMD has applied this bug fix and actually allows this card to clock and scale properly with its thermal and power budgets, then the performance should be much better and we'll be able to get a much better position of how this card stacks up in the market. I'm very glad that AMD has acknowledged this issue and are working on a fix at the moment. However, it does need to be said that this card technically did launch in July of last year, so they've had quite a while already to address this issue. But hey, I guess it's better late than never. Now, the 7900 GRE is a bit of an interesting spot, being between all sorts of cards such as the 7800 XT and the 7900 XT. You also have competition from Nvidia with the RTX 4070 and 4070 Super. So this market is very inflated already, and there being an option at pretty much every price range. So it's quite hard to pick a card where you could get a slightly better bump in performance for only spending $50 more. Getting a little bit of extra performance out of your GPU is very easy. Now, I know overclocking can seem a bit of a scary concept, especially to a novice user out there who might think, oh, if I increase the slider just a little bit, my GPU's going to blow up and set on fire and stuff. Which you could have potentially done if you were overclocking your system 20 years ago when we didn't have power limits and thermal limits in place, which would ensure your GPU would stay in safe operating parameters. Whereas back in the day, if you didn't quite know what you're doing, it's possible you could be in a situation where your GPU would overheat and your system would shut down. And in some cases, your hardware wouldn't even know when to dial back or even shut down to avoid damaging itself, with there being many stories many years ago of essentially computers cooking themselves to death. So I'm glad to say that era of computing overclocking is far behind us, and quite frankly, it's never been a safer time to try and squeeze as much performance out of your GPU, as your GPU will always automatically adjust its frequency to be within a safe operating temperature. However, if you're someone who doesn't care about safe operating parameters and safety features, a lot of high-end overclockers will install custom BIOSes to overwrite a lot of the safety protections of these cards. However, for consumer overclocking, it's never been easier and never been safer to do. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions around the story in the comments down below. What do you think of the release of the 7900 GRE? And do you think it would be a card that you would be interested in picking up yourself? And what do you think of the current issue of this bug artificially limiting the clock speed of this GPU? Anyway, I have been Madison Charlton from MLC Tech. Thank you so much for watching today's video. It's been great to get back behind the camera and talk about some tech products and computer parts out there in the world. And it feels good to be back making another video for you people at home. If you like this in any way, shape or form, make sure to give this video a like and maybe subscribe for more content like this in the future. Thank you once again for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in another one soon. Goodbye for now.